Are you feeling stuck in your business or career or burnt out and unsure of what's next? If that's you, it's time for a reinvention. Join me for the Reinvention Brainstorm Session, a free 90-minute hot seat and workshop designed to unlock your next level vision, identify your true zone of genius, and map out your next big move. We have a couple of live dates available. I want to be crystal clear that this is not a masterclass. It's a live activation, plus 2 lucky attendees are going to get hot seat coaching. Plus, I'm bringing in some really powerful special guests who are going to be calling in your reinvention as well. I don't want to spill the beans, but this is an activation that is designed for transformation. And you are going to love it, especially if you've been asking yourself, what's next? I'll have a link in the show notes, but you can also head on over to tracymatthews.com/reinvention brainstorm and save your spot today. All right, I'll see you there. Welcome to the podcast today. I'm so excited to bring you this episode. It's Tracy Matthews, Chief Visionary Officer of Flourish and Thrive Academy, and my personal brand, Tracy Matthews. I am a creativity and reinvention expert, a business strategist, a mentor to thousands, and I'm here to share a little story about why ignoring the need to change could actually cost you the future that you deserve or the future that you are expanding into. So, you know that moment when you're feeling the pull towards something greater and it becomes too strong to ignore? When you realize that staying the same is costing you the future that you actually deserve. Maybe it's a quiet whisper, maybe it's a full body knowing, but the one thing that you're clear on is that you are no longer willing to look away from your dreams. You've outgrown the version of you that plays it safe, the one who second guesses, the one who wonders if she's capable of more, but stays stuck in the comfort zone of what's familiar. You're actively choosing to step into the woman that you were always here and meant to become. And that choice, well, look, it is really powerful. It's courageous. It's the very thing that will redefine your next chapter. But here's the truth. Reinvention isn't meant to be done alone, because when you try to do it by yourself, doubt creeps in, you get in your head, you start questioning if you're ready. That's why this season of your life requires more than just desire. It requires the right people in your corner. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to break down how to become the version of you that you have been ignoring, the part of you that's been waiting to rise, the part of you that craves alignment and impact and the freedom that you've built in a business and a life that actually feels like yours, like that dream that you've always wanted. Now, if any of this is hitting home, then you need to be on my reinvention season brainstorm session. It is a free 90-minute hot seat and workshop with me, Tracy Matthews, where we're going to be mapping out your next move so that you can stop hesitating and start building the future that you know you're meant for. The only question left is, are you ready to stop looking away and step into this expansion for yourself? So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, we will definitely have a link in the show notes for you, or you can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/reinvention brainstorm and jump on that 90-minute session, which is going to be incredible. I believe we're going to be hosting this in 2 different time slots, and we definitely will have a recording if you can't make it live. Although if you join live, the cool part out is you'll have an opportunity to get a hot seat from me, and I'm going to be bringing in some very special guests. You are definitely not going to want to miss this, because these special guests are going to be giving you so much value. You're going to walk away with incredible value about your brand story and like all the things that you've been trying to piece together in this next version of you. So definitely check it out. So I would love to know if this sounds like you. Are you someone who is no longer willing to look away from your dreams? You are feeling something where the call is so strong that you literally can't ignore it anymore. This time in your life is sacred because it means that you're actively choosing to step into the version of you that you've always wanted to become. Now, after talking to hundreds of women who are in this season of reinvention, who are asking the question, what's next? How do I pivot? I'm feeling called to this next thing. How do I do it without burning my business down? Or how do I even do it when I love my business and I want to move forward, but I don't know how, right? So let me know if any of this resonates with you, because you're probably here because you're someone who is no longer willing to look away from your dreams. Maybe you're feeling this call that feels so strong that you can't ignore it, or that it's a time in your life that has become sacred because it means you're actively choosing to step into the version of you that you've always wanted to become. Maybe it's that you saw a vision or like a direction of where you wanted to go, and you're just, there's this inner knowing that it's time to make a change, and you're no longer willing to put your dreams on the back burner. Now, here's the thing. What typically happens when you get to this point is that there is some sort of emotional trigger or turning point that literally you can't not follow it, I guess is the best way to put it. It might feel like you're terrified and you're afraid of what's next, but literally if you continue to be the old version of you and you continue to step into that, like what you've always been doing, it's like you feel like you are going to explode. And there's nothing, or there's this pressure. I don't really know how to explain it other than that. I can explain what it feels like to me. Tell me if this resonates to you. Like you've been called to do something and you keep trying to go back to your old life, but that old life, whether it's your career and you're being called to do something outside of like working a job, or you've had a business for a long time and you're being called in a different direction, it's like you feel this obligation to what you've previously created, but for some reason, the call is too strong and you just can't ignore it anymore. And so it starts showing up in your body in different emotional capacities. So it just might feel like you're going to explode and there's this expansion happening that is causing tension and emotional distress in your body. You might also start getting into arguments with people or feeling some sort of distrust or distress with what's been going on for you and the season that you're in your life or your business. And there is this internal sense of like wonder and excitement. And I'm slowing down here on purpose. There's a sense of wonder and excitement that creates an emotional turning point. Like, you know that you can no longer ignore this call and you have to follow it, even if it makes no sense to anyone except for yourself. And it might not even make sense to you. And this is where courage steps in. You have to have the courage to actually step into this next version of you that is moving you on this journey or on this path, right? Now, there's something else that I wanted to discuss here, because if you're someone who has been dipping your toes and questioning yourself or getting in your head and wondering like, oh, well, should I do this thing? And like you're trying to do it, but it's not really working and you're kind of feeling bad. And one thing that you're really craving is accountability, because you want to move forward courageously, like we talked before, but without that accountability to hold your feet to the fire, to make sure that you come out a changed woman on the other side, to make sure that you are doing the thing that you said that you were going to do, then you feel like you won't do it fully. Like you'll let yourself down. And this is where being surrounded by the right people and being held accountable can be really powerful. You know, I've been exploring this idea through the last series of podcasts of like, what's the cost of actually not moving this next version of you forward, right? Is it your personal satisfaction? Is it your finances? Is it, you know, your impact in the world? Is it your relationships? Is it your family? Is it your creativity? Like, it can be, there is a cost in some way, shape, or form if you're being called to it, right? So what is that cost? Because this isn't something that you could just Google your way out of, right? You need the accountability around you. So, you know, one of the things that I think is so powerful is when you can get in a community of like-minded people to move you on to that next point. And I was just at a retreat where we went through an amazing exercise around accountability and community, because the retreat facilitator, which I'll be sharing more about this retreat later, but the retreat facilitator, Lindsay Schwartz, is an expander. And she asked us, what are you going to commit to over the next 30 days? And I love this because I do this at my retreats too. And we're going to follow up with you, and we want you to commit to your expansion, because part of that accountability and being surrounded by like-minded individuals that facilitates the expansion that you desire. Being surrounded by the right people, being held accountable, being in community of other people who are going through the same process as you. Now, in our programs that we have at Flourish and Thrive Academy, this has been a really powerful, motivator for people, because in that motivation, having the community of like-minded people who are all going through the same thing, it helps facilitate the transformation so much quicker. So if you're trying to do this alone, if you're trying to step into your next chapter alone and you're not sure how to navigate it, or you think but you're not doing it, then this is where accountability and community literally will be the game changer, because surrounding yourself by the right people expands you so much faster and moves you forward so much faster on your reinvention journey, on that expansion journey that is meant to be here for the long haul. Now, the next piece of this is, a lot of times I feel like the thing that hangs people up is that they struggle with having the courage to actually take the first step. And I love saying this because courage sometimes is just facilitated by taking one step and then the next step and then the next step. So when you're ready to embrace your pivot or your reinvention or that next chapter for you, sometimes the fear of unknown can be caught in the way. We get in our heads. We're like, is this going to work? What if it doesn't work? What will people think of me? Like, all these things that don't freaking matter at all. They don't matter at all. What matters is that you're stepping into your full brilliance, that you are stepping into your full genius, that you are stepping into your full expansion. So if you're at a phase where you're thinking to yourself, I don't know, or the longer I wait, the longer I am no longer willing to look away from this dream or from this passion or this calling that I have, because it is too strong and I can't ignore it anymore. This is the moment when you start to actively step and choose by stepping into that version of you that you've always wanted to become. Now, I want you to think about this. I just did this exercise the other day, and I feel a little bit nauseous even talking about this, because this expansion process that I'm going through is so big. I'm quantum leaping so fast into this bigger calling that I've been called to. When you actively choose to become or to be the person that you're becoming, you will quantum leap into that next chapter, right? But the problem is that a lot of times we're operating out of the systems that worked for a different model, a different type of person, a different version of us that is no longer either with us or that's no longer serving us. So it's your opportunity to step into that next best version of you. Now, the next phase of this, and I know that this is something that if this resonates with you, I've heard a lot of people just feeling like, they're hitting 40s, 50s, and they're like, I don't really feel like I've made the impact that I meant to be here for. I don't really feel like I've found my true purpose. And I know that up until this point, I didn't feel like I was making a difference in the world with the legacy that I was bringing forward. And I want to make sure that I'm leaving the world a better place than when I found it, that I'm leaving the world, leaving a legacy, that literally has an impact on the people who have experienced me, whether it's in your short community, in this bigger expansive community that you're here for, whether it's something else completely. This is your opportunity to make the world literally a better place because you're in it, right? And I feel like I know that everyone listening here, you probably have so much to offer. And it would be such a shame not to share what you've been doing with others, not to share your brilliance with others. It literally is a shame. They need to experience your gifts. The thing that is so easy for you to do that you don't feel like you should get paid for is the thing that is your legacy and your impact, and the thing that you are meant to step into on such a bigger level. And I'm here to support you in that process. Now, finally, I want to just call this out, because if you're feeling like your business brings the whole golden handcuffs to you, and I say that in jest because I've been there before, stepping out in faith, stepping out in courage, stepping out to your bigger calling can feel scary, especially when you have something that's working really well, or you had something that's working really well. You're confused about what's next. And you don't have to rely on everything that you've always done to support you financially or to make money. There's a way to reinvent this and to rebrand this in a way that is simple for you to tap into your biggest gifts. Maybe it's figuring out a way to make money in the interim, right? So I know one of the things that became really impactful during one of my reinventions was I had this big dream to launch a new jewelry company after the 2008 market crash. And I wanted to get that company ramped up. But I knew that in the season of me winding down my previous business and launching forward with my new business, that it was going to require a little bit of unraveling. And it was going to take some time. And I wasn't going to be fully up to speed with my new business right away. And so what did I do? I found a way to bridge the gap from where I was to where I wanted to be. And that looked like me landing, like literally manifesting a, $5,000 a month consulting gig with a $400 million jewelry company, which was amazing. Me having plenty of custom jewelry clients who are coming in here and there that were referrals from friends and family because I asked them for help, and also teaching yoga and doing some corporate wellness. And so all of those things became a really powerful tool in my process of being able to create a bridge or something that gave me some security in that interim time that allowed me to take the leap into that next version of me. And you don't have to rely on everything that you've previously done, especially when you're quantum leaping forward. And when you have clarity on truly what your true gifts and talents are, and you can turn that into something that is monetized, you can be liberated, literally freed to make money from multiple streams. It doesn't have to be just one thing, right? So there are so many ways around this. If you're getting stuck in your head of wondering like what's next for your reinvention season in this process, then here's your opportunity to break free from those golden handcuffs, because there is another way. And I am here to call this out to you. So I want to ask you, what's stopping you from building a life and a business that feels aligned with the future version of you of where you're going? Because here's the thing, the old version of you must die for you to step into that expansion. James Wedmore at this event that I was just at called it a shamanic death. Other people, including myself, call it an ego death. It's like, it's very uncomfortable because it's time for you to shed the skin. And that's the theme of this year. We're in the snake season. Shed the skin of the previous version of you so that you can step into this higher vibration version of you who is ready to take on the world, do the damn thing, and reinvent themselves to step into their next chapter with confidence and clarity and excitement, because they are realigned and excited about what they're doing in this world and the work that they're here and meant to be doing. And so I would love to invite you to something that really exciting that I'm having. And you're probably going to hear this in the pre and post roll, but I'm hosting a reinvention brainstorm session. It is a 90-minute combination of a hot seat and a workshop with me and some special guests who will be announced soon, who are going to come in. And this is specifically for women who are ready to reignite and realign their passion for their business or their career. I'm going to help you unlock your next level vision, identify your zone of genius, and really step in and map out your next big move. So if you want to join more, so if you want to learn more about the brainstorm session, I'm hosting 2 live sessions and you can check it out. Head on over to tracymatthews.com/brainstorm session. And you'll be able to find the link right there to register. You can also see it in the show notes below. And this is an invitation for you to also come and learn a little bit more about the transformation that you will experience in such a quick period of time throughout my Art of Reinvention program. So I'll have links for everything that I've mentioned in the show notes. And I just want to thank you so much for having the courage not only to listen to this podcast, but to be in a season of shedding and reinvention and really upgrading and up-leveling into the next best version of you, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's to go big or go home, or to impact your small community, or to impact the world with your jewelry, or whatever that looks like. So thanks for listening. This is Tracy signing off. Until next time. Hey, thank you so much for joining me for the show today. I wanted to record this little outro because I know after speaking with so many people that many of you are just feeling this call for something more. And I would love to invite you to something that is very near and dear to my heart that I'm so excited about. It is called the Reinvention Brainstorm Workshop. And basically, you're going to dive in and we're going to be starting to facilitate what's next for you. Now, during this 90-minute session, we're going to help you gain some clarity, unlock how you can position your genius with premium opportunities, and take action without second guessing yourself. And I know that that's a huge thing right now. So you don't have to stay stuck. In fact, the cost of staying stuck is way too high. The best part about this is we're going to be moving into action after this call. So we'll be doing an activation on the call. You'll have an opportunity to throw your name in the ring for a hot seat. And on top of that, you'll also have the opportunity to get coached by my special guest who's going to be participating in my Art of Reinvention program. So sign up for this free workshop. Head on over to tracymatthews.com/reinvention brainstorm and save your seat today. I'm so excited to see you there.